Hey, what's going on, TheTrueAura here. Welcome back to another Season 2 episode. Today we're just going to be checking out the missions of Warframe because I haven't done that yet, and I don't know why I didn't do that in Season 1. But Season 2 will be ending soon. But the thing is, like, with Earth, you have to come back here, like, 3 times, so there will be, like, an Earth 1.0, 2.0, etc., whatever. But this is going to be one of the last episodes, I think, of Season 2. If I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. But let's go ahead and talk about all the mission types, because I haven't done that yet. Assassination. Contracts mark high-priority targets around the system. Hunt down and eliminate these enemies, then head to extraction. These missions are basically your boss missions. You go in there, you take them down, and most of the time they'll give you a blueprint, not a blueprint, sorry, weapon blueprint, Jesus Christ, Warframe component blueprints for your Warframes. So we will be going through that every season because I'm going to be checking out each planet for each season, stuff like that. When we get further into the game, some seasons we'll be talking about elemental damage and things that we get to during that part of the game, but for now, not so much. Capture missions. The location of an enemy VIP has been discovered. Track them down and then capture them. Watch out, as these enemies would rather run from the combat than fight. If they see you, they will run towards the nearest extraction point. Defeat them before they can escape. Once the target is downed, press X or your interaction key or button or whatever to capture these targets and teleport them to a waiting holding facility. So basically these missions are one of the fastest missions. Kind of not so much late game because these targets can be super strong. But these missions are basically the quickest missions. You just go into a mission, but like 20 seconds in, you find your target, you take them down, you press X on them, and then there you go, your mission's done, you go to extraction, or you spend the rest of the mission looting. These missions are really good for looting if you want a quick in and out type of mission. Deception. Enter the enemy ship and hack their navigation consoles to redirect their path. At the start of Deception missions, a data mask will spawn next to the Tenno. It can be picked up with the interaction key, but will prevent the carrier from using their primary weapons. Take the data mask through the mission and place it in the enemy navigation console. So basically, you're just going to be going into ships and stuff, redirecting them. Not too hard. It's kind of like the mission that is Sabotage. Basically the same thing, but you cannot use primaries when holding this device. Not every Tenno who's on your mission needs to hold the device, just the person, which is normally going to be you, is going to be holding the device, and you cannot use your primary, but you can use your melee, secondary, and most abilities. Defense missions. Defend an important target against a wave of enemy units. If the defense target is destroyed, the mission automatically fails. Every 5 waves can choose to stay or fight. Choose to stay and fight or extract from the mission. So basically these missions, when we get into dark sectors, which we will be going into I think the next season, are basically going to be the type of missions where you just stay at one position on a map, and enemies are going to come to you to try and destroy the target. These missions are really good with Frost or anyone else who can defend the target like Limbo, and you basically just get a lot of kills. Very fun missions. Kind of boring, but they're fun. Excavation missions are some of the most fun missions in my opinion. At the start of the mission, objective markers will appear showing locations of excavators. Travel to these points and use power cores to activate the excavator. Defend the excavator until it unearths what it was looking for. Up to 3 excavations can be activated at the same time. So basically this mission is you're going to have to place down an extractor, and you're going to want to protect it, and you're going to want to put power cells into it. Power cells are carried by certain types of enemies of each faction, and once you kill them, they will drop the cell. You put it into the excavator. Excavators need 5 cells in total to be 100% power, or you can, if the excavator is running low on health, you can put another cell into it to bring its health right back up. Exterminate missions are your basic just go around and kill everything missions. Enter the level and kill every enemy you encounter, leave no one standing. Very simple, very basic missions, and it's like the fact they call it an exterminate. It's not like it just go kill these many enemies, it's an exterminate them, like you're some sort of guy going in to get some bugs out of people's houses. Hijacks are such an annoying mission. they're so annoying, but with the new Warframe coming out, who's only has shields, it might be a little interesting, but I'm not sure. But hijack an enemy transport and escort it to extraction. Guard the vehicle from enemies as it moves along a path. These missions are super hard to do solo unless you're super bulky and you can kill everything pretty quickly. In order to make the target move, Tenno must stand next to the cart and use energy from their shields to power it. As the shields drain, the cart will move along the path towards extraction. The more Tenno giving shield power, the faster the transporter moves. The transport will lose health over time, so speed is critical to ensuring success. So these missions are annoying because if you get hit, you lose shield, you can't move the thing. Enemies are going to be hitting the thing, it's going to lose health, and it loses 10 points of health every second. It has like a very big chunk of health, so it's not too hard, but it can come down to the wire sometimes, so these missions are very high stress missions. Hive sabotage we won't get into for a while in this series. These sabotage missions are set to an infested hive. There are 3 major hives around the level, however, each of these are invisible at first, for whatever reason. Growing near the hives are 5 tumor nodes that have to be located and destroyed. Once the tumors are all destroyed, the hive will become vulnerable to attacks. I think that might have said invincible. It definitely said invincible, not invisible. That would make a lot more sense. After a hive is destroyed, it will activate one of 6 traps that will trigger for the remainder of the mission. Once all these have been destroyed, Tenno will have to reach extraction with 3 traps active. I didn't actually know these have traps set up after you defeat them, so these missions get progressively harder and harder. The fact that I never noticed these traps, though, that kind of points something out. Interception missions. So much easier solo if you can kill everything. Maybe not so much late game, but once you're able to kill everything pretty quickly late game, super easy solo. Use enemy relay stations to intercept and decode important enemy transmissions. Interception missions have 4 relay points. Standing beside these relay stations will begin to capture the point. The enemy will spawn endlessly and attempt to take and hold their own positions. When you capture a point, it will start decoding a message. The more points you hold, the faster the decoding will occur. When you fully decode a message, you will have the option of leaving or staying to decode another. The more messages you decode, the tougher the enemies will become. Again, another endless mission. This mission is so much easier solo because if you do it solo, your pointers go up a lot quicker. If you do it with 4 people, you can capture, each point at one time rather than having to do one at a time. These missions are pretty simple. Basically, you're like domination, capture the point type of missions. Basically super easy. And one thing they do not mention is every time you cap all 4, you get 1000 XP. So if the enemy takes 1 point and you capture that point again, you get another 1000 XP. So make sure the enemies are capturing at least 1 point here and there so you can get that XP. Invasion missions are super important missions. The Corpus and Grenier are fighting for control of the planet, also infested. Choose one faction to represent in the conflict. Your faction will fight with you as you exterminate the enemy forces. This mission can be repeated until one faction has completely taken control. If enough missions for the same faction are completed, they may see fit to grant you battle pay. Battle pay can only be earned for a single faction. Information for progress of the conflict can be found on the star chart. Once a faction wins battles, the conflict will end. So basically what this is, if we go over here, again spoilers because I'm later in the game right now, these are invasion missions. There's also infested outbreaks. But basically you get a specific amount, you don't get a specific amount, you get an item. Sometimes these items can be these types of resources. Sometimes items can be blueprints and weapons parts, which are also super cool. Basically, you have to do 3 different types of missions against the other faction. So if I wanted this, I would have to join the Grenier 3 times. The first mission would be a survival mission. Once I complete 3 of these missions, I would get one of these. You cannot go and do 3 of these and then go back here, because then you would lose all these points and then start stacking it there. If you do, however, do like an invasion mission for Grenier a lot of the time, then you will get a target out to kill you, which we will go into later on whenever we get to Stalker and stuff like that. Basically, you're marked for death and someone will come into your mission at some point and try to kill you. Mobile defense, super self-explanatory. In mobile defense missions, Tenno must find and defend multiple consoles while the Lotus hacks into enemy systems. A data mass will spawn, and the Tenno must carry it to one of the nearby targets. Just like, you know, when you're on the ships to turn it around and whatnot. Take the data mass to one of the targets, place it in the console by pressing your action key, then defend the target. When the timer is completed, pick up the data mass and move to the next target. When all the targets have been defended, head to extraction. So basically, you're going to go around, put the data mass into the console, and you're going to have to defend it for about 2 minutes or so, and then move on to the next one. Recovery missions. This is exactly what I was just talking about with the invasion stuff. When a Tenno is defeated by the Zanuka Hunter, which has never happened to me before, so I never actually got to play this mission, but it's a thing that happens, Tenno will start the level with no weapons or Warframe, and will have to search through the level for their missing gear. With no weapons, Tenno can only use their fists for attacking, so using stealth attacks can be an effective method of taking down enemies. I don't know why, like, fist attacking isn't a thing before. Like, if you don't bring a melee weapon to, like, a mission and you run out of ammo on your guns, how are you gonna... You can't attack anything, and if you have no energy, you're basically screwed. So, I never actually played this mission, but I wish they would put the fists into, like, normal gameplay. Just in case you don't bring a melee with you and you're leveling up weapons. Rescue missions. A valuable ally has been captured by the enemy. Infiltrate their stronghold and search for the prison. Once there, hack the door and free the prisoner. Be warned, the prison cells have been rigged with a kill switch. If the wardens detect an intrusion, they will start an execution sequence. Failure to rescue the hostages before the sequence finishes will result in their termination. Once the prisoner is free, they will begin to follow the Tenno, protect them, and get them to extraction. Tenno can choose to give the rescue target a weapon to help defend themselves. Walk up to the target and press X to give them your secondary weapon. These missions, basically, you have to go into a jail cell, free them, but once you free them, you can go straight to the extraction point. You don't need to stay by their side and, you know, walk to the extraction point. If you go as fast as possible, they won't take any damage because they're going to be teleporting towards you. So basically, once you rescue them, just go straight to extraction. You won't have to worry about them after that. Infiltrate the enemy hold and cripple their operation by striking at vulnerable points. The minimap will lead you to the target. Once it has been destroyed, get to extraction as fast as possible. Sabotage and missions. Pretty easy, just going in, destroy some stuff, and walk out. Spy missions are also another way to get a certain type of Warframe, which we will go into later. This is an espionage mission. Tenno must search through enemy ships and outposts to find data vaults containing critical intel. The data vaults are guarded by a myriad of security measures. From laser traps to sensor drones, Tenno should attempt to extract the intel without being detected. If the enemy detects an intrusion, Tenno will only have a short time to retrieve the intel before it is destroyed. Most missions will contain multiple data vaults. The number of successful extractions required changes by mission. So if you're doing like a story mission or an alert mission for a spy, sometimes you'll have to get all three, sometimes you'll only have to survive with one or two. These missions, pretty self-explanatory, kind of hard to get used to of like where to go to get into them. Like even recently for me, I've been playing the game for 7 years, and on the Grenier spy missions, I only figured out how to get to like B or whatever it is with like the bombs, like without detecting anything, so you'll learn that through time. The survival missions, the enemy has cut off life support systems, and Lotus is able to drop in small life support reserves priority. I cannot say that word for the life of me, and I never can. Periodically. These will be marked on the minimap. To maintain life support, Tenno must activate these as they appear. Enemies themselves have a chance to drop smaller tanks of life support. These will help the life support levels up between the larger canister drops. If life support runs out, Tenno will begin to suffocate and take damage. At this point, the only option are extraction or death. The longer Tenno survive, the more rewards they will receive, but the tougher the enemies will become. Again, another endless mission, good for farming resources, stuff like that. We'll be getting into those later on. Cevalon capture. I've never done this before, but I may as well explain it anyways. Tenno pit their powers and techniques against one another. as two teams fight each other in an attempt to capture the opposing team's Sevlon while protecting their own. A Tenno make their way into the opposing team's territory. This is basically capture the flag if you didn't catch on, and run to the opposing Sevlon to capture it. If the opposition defeat the Tenno before they can capture it, the Sevlon will be dropped for a short time. The Sevlon will remain where it was dropped and will be returned if an opponent runs over it, or picked up if an ally runs over it. Bringing an opponent's Sevlon to your own Sevlon will capture it and award your team a point. The first team to gain 3 points, or the team with the highest amount of points when time runs out, wins the match. I've never played this before because it's just something we don't do often. People who play this game, we don't do a lot of PvP stuff. I might get into it later on, but a lot of people, you stay away from that. Annihilation. Fight against 7 of the Tenno in this free-for-all arena. Annihilate the Oro by collecting it to gain a point. Beware that if another enemy annihilates the Oro, they will gain that point instead. The Tenno with the most points at the end of the match is declared the winner. Basically, you're going around capturing points and killing your friends, enemies, stuff like that. Team Annihilation. Join 3 teammates and battle against an opposing team of 4 players. Defeat your enemy will cause them to drop an Oro. Either yourself or a teammate can annihilate the Oro by collecting it or gathering your team a point. By collecting it, gathering your team a point. Sorry. Other enemies can deny your team the point if they are able to annihilate the Oro dropped by their fallen teammate. The team with the most points at the end of the match is declared the winner. And some of people's favorites, but again, something people don't play a lot, is Lunaro. Lunaro is an ancient ball sport once played both as training and recreation by Tenno of old. Sun and Moon form teams of up to 3 players using an acroscope. Jesus Christ, these words. Akita scoop. Players try to hurl the ball, known as a Lunaro, through the opposing team's goal. Teams defend their own goal by intercepting the Lunaro when passed or shot at the goal. Lunaro is a contact sport and players are free to forcibly knock down Lunaro out of the other player's Akurata, or I'm just going to say scoop. After a goal, the scoring team must leave the opposition zone before they can take possession of Lunaro again. Lunaro consists of 2 5-minute periods. The team with the highest score at the end of the second period is declared the winner. So these are basically all the types of missions you're going to be doing in Warframe. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys smash the like button, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, make sure you guys click the post notification bell to be notified when I upload, and I'll see you guys in the next video, and see you guys.